Have you ever been in a situation, maybe a meeting, where someone asks any questions and you feel like you do have something important to ask, but you just kind of stay silent?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you do ask, but you get back a really short answer, like just yes or no, and the conversation just stalls.
Yeah, exactly. That feeling. You want to dig deeper, right?
Yeah.
Understand what's really going on behind the scenes.
hmm Or maybe you see a potential issue, but you're not sure how to bring it up constructively.
Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're going to explore some really powerful English expressions you can use in those moments.
Right. We're talking about questions that go beyond the surface level.
Yeah, questions that not only get you the information you need, but also, show you're curious and thinking analytically.
We'll be looking at some key phrases, basically,
Hmm.
that can help you guide conversations and uncover those hidden insights. Think of them as tools for your conversational toolbox.
Okay, sounds great. So let's jump right in. What's the first one we should look at?
A really useful one to start with is, what factors led you to that conclusion?
Ah, okay. What factors led you to that conclusion? So what exactly does that get at?
Was asking about the elements, the reasons, the uh, pieces of information someone used to arrive at their decision or their viewpoint.
Right, so it's not just why, which can sometimes sound a bit, I don't know, confrontational.
Exactly. Factors sounds more analytical.
Hmm.
It implies there were multiple elements influencing them. You're asking them to share their kind of evidence or reasoning.
That makes sense. Could you give an example?
Sure. Imagine someone says, I recommend we enter the Southeast Asian market. Instead of just nodding, you could say, that's interesting. What factors led you to that conclusion?
Okay, I see. It invites a more detailed explanation. How can we remember when to use this one?
Think of it like someone presenting a finished picture.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking about the individual puzzle pieces they use to put that picture together. So use it when you want to understand how they assembled their conclusion.
Got it. Puzzle pieces forming the final picture. Nice. Okay, what's next?
Another really good one is, could you walk me through your thought process?
Ooh, I like that one. Could you walk me through your thought process? It sounds very collaborative.
It is. It's basically asking someone to explain the steps they took, the sequence of thinking that got them to their idea or conclusion.
So it's about the journey, not just the destination.
Precisely. Walk through means to guide or explain step by step. You're asking for the narrative behind their thinking.
So if a colleague suggests, say, a really innovative solution to a problem, I could say.
You could say, wow, that's a really innovative approach. Could you walk me through your thought process? It shows genuine interest in how they got there.
And a way to remember this one.
Imagine you're literally going for a walk with someone, and they're guiding you along their path, pointing things out. Use this when you want that step-by-step explanation of their reasoning.
Okay, a guided walk through their thinking. Love it. What's our third phrase?
This one helps look at the bigger picture. What implications do you see for it?
What implications do you see for, implications, that means?
It means the potential consequences, the effects, the broader significance of something, often the things that aren't immediately obvious.
The ripple effects.
Exactly. You're asking, okay, if we do this, what else might happen down the line? What does this mean for other areas?
So an example might be if we're talking about rebranding.
Yeah, perfect. You
Yeah.
could ask, what implications do you see for our current marketing strategy if we decide to rebrand? Or maybe, what implications for team morale?
Right, exploring those wider effects. And the memory tip.
Think of those ripples spreading out in water when you drop a stone in. That's what implications are about. Use this when you want to explore that wider impact.
Ripples in a pond. Got it. Okay, moving on. Number 4.
This one is very useful in organizational settings. How does this align with our broader objectives?
How does this align with our broader objectives?
Oh, there you
They
go.
align, like lining things up.
Exactly. It's asking how a specific idea or proposal or action fits into the bigger picture, the overall goals or strategy of the team or the company.
So it's about making sure we're not just doing things randomly, but that they contribute to the main goals.
Precisely. It encourages strategic thinking. Align means to bring into agreement or harmony.
So if someone proposes, like, a cool new product feature,
You might ask, this new feature sounds interesting. How does this align with our broader objectives for customer retention this quarter?
it connects the small idea to the big picture. How to remember this?
Think about those puzzle pieces again, but this time you're checking if a specific piece fits correctly into the larger puzzle image, the overall strategy. Use it to check for that strategic fit.
Makes sense. Checking if the puzzle piece fits. Okay, phrase number 5.
This one focuses on the potential downsides. What would be the potential challenges or risks?
Ah, the reality check question. What would be the potential challenges or risks?
Yes, it's about proactive thinking. It shows you're considering not just the upsides, but also, what could go wrong? What difficulties might we face?
It encourages a balanced view rather than just being overly optimistic.
Right, so if someone suggests, say, speeding up a product launch.
You could ask, okay, but what would be the potential challenges or risks if we accelerate our product launch tough lane? Like, what might we overlook?
Exactly. It prompts a more realistic assessment. For remembering this one, imagine you're planning a journey and you're actively looking down the path for any obstacles or pitfalls.
Okay, looking for obstacles on the path ahead. Good one. And our final phrase for today.
Number 6 is, what alternatives have you considered?
What alternatives have you considered? This feels like it opens up the discussion.
It does. It asks if other options or different solutions were explored before settling on the current proposal. Alternative just means another choice or possibility.
So it encourages people to show they've thought broadly.
Yes, and it might even surface an option that wasn't fully dismissed and could be revisited. It shows thoroughness.
So if someone puts forward a plan to, say, outsource a particular function,
You could ask, your proposal to outsource this function is interesting. What alternatives have you considered? It just gently probes if other avenues were looked at.
and the way to remember this,
Picture yourself at a fork in the road looking at the different paths available. Use this when you want to explore if other routes were considered.
fork in the road. Excellent. Okay, those are 6 really solid phrases. Now, you mentioned earlier that asking questions can be viewed differently. Can we talk a bit about that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Cultural context definitely plays a role here. In some cultures, people might feel a bit hesitant to ask these kinds of deep, probing questions, especially to someone seen as an authority figure.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, it could be about maintaining group harmony, or not wanting to seem like you're challenging the person, or maybe even worrying about asking a silly question in front of everyone. They might prefer to ask privately later.
Okay, that makes sense. You wouldn't want to inadvertently cause someone to lose face, perhaps.
Right, whereas in many English-speaking business cultures, asking these kinds of thoughtful analytical questions is often seen really positively.
How so?
It's often interpreted as a sign of, engagement, that you're listening carefully, that you have intellectual curiosity, and you're thinking critically about the topic.
So it's actually encouraged.
Often, yes, there's sometimes an attitude of, there are no stupid questions. Asking good questions is seen as contributing to a better discussion and better outcomes. And using more sophisticated phrasing, like the ones we've discussed, can definitely come across as more professional than just asking why over and over.
That's a really important distinction. So using these phrases can actually help you look more engaged and professional in those contexts.
Absolutely. And here's a quick tip to make using them even smoother. Try to preface your question with a little bit of acknowledgement or appreciation.
Ah, okay. Like what?
So instead of just launching into what factors led you to that conclusion,
Mm,
you could say something like, that's an interesting point. What factors led you to that conclusion?
right. Or I appreciate you sharing that. Could you walk me through your thought process?
Exactly. It just softens it slightly.
Yeah.
It makes it clear you're asking out of genuine curiosity, not as a direct challenge. It builds rapport.
That's a really practical tip. Okay, this is super helpful. Maybe we can quickly run through those 6 phrases again, just to lock them in.
Good idea. Let's
Yeah.
do a quick recap.
Okay, first,
Yeah.
what factors led you to that conclusion?
Second, could you walk me through your thought process?
Third, what implications do you see for?
Fourth, how does this align with our broader objectives?
Fifth, what would be the potential challenges or risks?
And sixth, what alternatives have you considered?
Fantastic. And just to quickly map those out again, if you want to know the reasons.
Ask about the factors. What factors led you to that conclusion?
If you want the step-by-step thinking,
Ask them to walk you through. Could you walk me through your thought process?
to explore the wider impact,
Ask about implications. What implications do you see for?
to check if it fits the big picture,
Ask how it aligns. How does this align with our broader objectives?
to uncover potential problems,
Ask about challenges or risks. What would be the potential challenges or risks?
and to see if other options were considered.
Ask about alternatives. What alternatives have you considered?
Brilliant. So basically, we've looked at 6 really practical phrases to help you move beyond surface level questions and have more insightful conversations.
Yeah, these aren't just question templates. They're ways to show you're thinking deeply and analytically, and to help everyone in the conversation gain a better understanding.
They really feel like tools you can use to elevate your participation in discussions.
Definitely. Using them thoughtfully can make a real difference.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive for today on asking more insightful questions. But we're not quite done with questions yet, are we?
Not at all. In our next session, we're going to build on this and look specifically at how to ask really intelligent follow-up questions.
Ooh, okay. So once you've used one of these initial deep questions, how do you keep the momentum going and dig even deeper?
Exactly. How do you use follow-ups to probe further, clarify understanding, and uncover even more valuable insights? That's what we'll explore next time.
Sounds fascinating. Before we go, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. Which of these 6 phrases stood out to you the most?
Yeah, have you used any of them before? Or maybe you have other go-to phrases for asking deeper questions.
Let us know in the comments section. We genuinely enjoy reading your experiences and suggestions.
Your input is always valuable.
So, until next time, ask deeper, think smarter, achieve more. We're looking forward to our next insightful discussion.